One type of car that I think goes unnoticed, and I myself want to try as many of them as I can, are small city cars. And in the age that we are in, where we're transitioning over to electric cars, I think the most practical use of electric vehicles are going to be city cars. Before moving to electric, I want to see a bit more experimentation with city cars, smaller cars. Because something like the Volkswagen Up GTI, everybody raves about it that's driven it, and everybody raves about it that owns it, and I really want to try it just to see what they're going on about. Of course, James May's done his big Grand Tour video on it as part of the first series, where he compares it to the original Golf GTI, and saying how it was a relatively small amount of power, but because the car was so light and small, that's what made it fun. And so that's why I want to try it. And just when I'm thinking, car companies could have a lot of fun with this kind of thing. I might be being dumb by not thinking of any other small city cars that are souped up like the Up GTI is. Something like a Vauxhall Adam, as much as it's a hairdresser's car, if they did like a VXR version of that, they might already do one, I might just be being dim. But that would just seem, with a lot of power behind it, or a decent amount of power behind it, would seem like a pretty fun car. Even something like a Ford KA, if it had a turbo engine in it, about 120 horsepower, I imagine that would be quite fun. And because it would be relatively cheap to manufacture in comparison to like a big supercar for a company or something like that, or like, let's say Ford again, if they wanted to make the Ford Mustang, the comparison of the two cars, that's going to be cheaper, and you can probably can experiment more with it. And if that results in a lot of sales where customers are happy and they enjoy it, and it's given rave reviews, then surely that would be a good base to convert it to electric. Try and make it the same dimensions in weight and power and all the rest, and then you'd have probably a decent market at that point. But yeah, like I say, the Up GTI, I definitely just want to drive it. I just want to see how it is, because if it is as fun as everybody talks about, I want in. I don't know if you can class it as a city car, but it is a smaller car in comparison to everything else. But a 2 Series shape, in the fact of the M2, for the fact it is so small in comparison to others like an M3 or something like that, the reason why that has such a cult following, quite a lot of people put the comparison of that to the original M3, because again, it's smaller and it's lighter than the current models that are out now. And another great example of this is the GR Yaris. Everybody is raving about that at the minute, and it's a similar sort of setup. It's a similar fundamental plan that people are just putting into their own brands. And I do want to try that car as well. I can't believe I forgot about that. But yeah, I think other people need to get more excited about this, and then they need to consider that as an electric car when everything does go electric. And again, people don't realise how practical these are as well, because if you have everybody going to different jobs in a household, for example, these are going to be relatively cheap and small for that purpose. You're not, if you are using it as a way from getting to work and back to have a bit of fun there, you're not always going to be carrying people, and even then they can't complain because it's far and few between lifts and that kind of thing. But what do I know? I drive a white Ford Fiesta, so make up your own mind.